Hello everybody, this is Mr. Rob and welcome back to another episode of the South Carolina Gamecocks Dynasty here on EA Sports College Football 25 as we're back at Williams-Brice Stadium for a game against an FCS school, and we're actually playing that FCS school. South Carolina is at home against the Wofford Terriers from the SoCon Conference. Hope you guys are ready for this one. Sorry if I sound a little echoey. If you didn't know, I am in the middle of moving apartments and it has been a heck of a process. But I don't have everything put up yet, so some of the stuff might be echoing a little bit, so I do apologize for that. But if you're excited for this one and more college football content, make sure you drop a like and you subscribe down below, especially if you want more franchise content and Dynasty Mode content. As we'll get into some of the game highlights now, here's a 3rd and 6, where Sellers is going to get outside and find Huggins-Bruce downfield for a big gain. And South Carolina on their first drive of the game, looking pretty good. 2nd and 19 now, though, after a loss of 9. As Sellers looks across the middle and he finds Jared Brown, who had a big game today. He gets out. And then later in the drive, 2nd and goal. Here's Sellers. Moves to his left, fires. He has Huggins-Bruce for a touchdown. Gamecocks go up early 7-0 here at Willie B after a great first drive. Now into the second quarter, 3rd and 4 for Wofford as the defense trying to get off the field, and they'll do just that. Stops him in the backfield. Nice tackle for a loss as the defense played very good for the first half of this game. Gamecocks back with the football. Here's Jared Brown again. Very good game for the junior Coastal Carolina transfer. Is now in the red zone. 2nd and 10. Touch pass to Brown. He finds the end zone. Jared Brown had 4 catches for 81 yards and a touchdown in this game. He puts the Gamecocks up 14-0. Now in the second quarter as well for Wofford. It's a sack. Going down is the quarterback. That's Dylan Stewart with a sack. He had 1 in this game. Kyle Kennard had the other for the Gamecocks as they get another stop. Trying to get more points in the first half. Here's Joshua Simon getting loose. The tight end rumbles out of bounds. Ja'Kai Moore hurt on the play. And as we get now later in the drive, 2nd and goal. Sellers back of the end zone. He finds his man. Touchdown. Gamecocks. Nick Harbor. 3 for 46 and a touchdown for him in this game as Sellers had himself a ball game. I didn't show this, but Nick Eamon-Ward actually had a pick 6 for the Gamecocks in this game as he had our 1 turnover, and it's 28-0 for the Gamecocks. And they're not done. 3rd quarter, deep downfield, but Sellers gets intercepted once. Got a little too greedy for Huggins-Bruce. So Wofford does make a couple plays in this one. And in that same drive to begin the 4th quarter, they got goal to go from the 9, and they find the end zone. Touchdown Terriers as they finally strike on the board here in the 4th quarter. But later, Gamecocks, here's Sanders on the ground. He finds the end zone. 12 for 114 and a touchdown for Rocket. As this now 42-7 in favor of South Carolina. And as you can see, the defense not done. Wofford would settle for 3, though. 5 minutes to go here in the 4th quarter. And look at this 51-yard kick for the Terriers. That's up and through. But we win this game 42-17. Pretty single-handed win over the FCS opponent, which should happen. We improved to 7-4. 4 touchdowns for Lenora Sellers, 225 yards. Did have the 1 turnover, though. But the offense played good. The defense played pretty much lights out for the game. And we get the victory. Around the country here in week number 13, we see that Auburn pulls up a massive upset against Texas A&M. That basically takes the Aggies out of contention. Miami also goes down at home to Wake Forest, a big loss for the Hurricanes. And this week, the game of the year. Number 1, Ohio State. Number 2, Michigan. Buckle up for that one. Other scores around the league, starting off with Maction. Central Michigan wins over Western Michigan. Then in the ACC, Georgia Tech upsets NC State. The Wolfpack were number 2. They've lost 2 straight now and have fallen out of the rankings for the playoff. Mississippi State over Missouri. We saw Auburn get the victory over A&M. Penn State also beat Minnesota. ACC scores Boston College over North Carolina. Louisville over Pittsburgh. And then Virginia Tech now ranked on the back of Kyron Drones. They win against Duke. We saw Miami's loss. West Virginia, over UCF. FIU over Kennesaw State. FAU beats Charlotte in the AAC. And then also Tulsa over USF. To the Sun Belts, James Madison gets a big upset win over Appalachian State, and Arkansas State knocks off Louisiana Monroe. Georgia wins their tune-up game against UMass. Michigan rolls in to Columbus off a victory against Northwestern. Maryland tops Iowa, and then the Rutgers loses again. Now 9-2 are the Scarlet Knights, dropping back-to-back games, this time to Illinois. Ohio State, they stay undefeated against Indiana. Purdue over Michigan State. And the Big Ten edition of the Battle of Los Angeles, it's USC who gets the victory. And LSU, they're up to number 5 now. They beat Vanderbilt 35-27. SMU over Virginia. TCU wipes Arizona out west. And then a couple of close games. Kansas State beats Cincinnati by a point, and Kansas does the same to Colorado. A couple of one-score games or one-point games. And the game of the week, Texas Tech goes to Stillwater and hands the Cowboys their first loss of the season. 38-24 down there. Notre Dame gets the victory over Army. North Texas slaughters East Carolina 52-21. We see Rice drop a game to UAB as the Owls have kind of proven to be a fraud. Nevada over Air Force, and then we see Utah State gets a victory. And then Texas State beats Georgia State. Big win for the Bobcats. We'll touch on that in just a minute. Louisiana over Troy, and then Marshall knocks ODU out. And then Utah with a big victory over Iowa State. Also, I didn't show that score, but Florida State lost to their FCS opponent this week. That's pretty bad. Tennessee over UTEP, and then Kentucky gets a huge win on the road against the Longhorns, 24-16. The Cougars beat the Bears. Western Kentucky beats Liberty. So yes, Texas State is now the highest group of 5 team. Major development there. Florida knocks off Ole Miss, and then Fresno State beats Colorado State. Syracuse wins against UConn 33-21. Alabama loses to Oklahoma. The Crimson Tide 5-6. They don't win against Auburn next week. They miss a bowl game. Cal beats Stanford in the ACC edition of the big game. And then Oregon State goes undefeated in Pac-12 play. They beat Washington State. Now 1-0 in the conference. And then we see BYU beat Arizona State on the road. Wyoming notches Boise State by a point. And then UNLV doubles up San Jose State. Here are your new rankings. Obviously, Ohio State and Michigan this week. Georgia is at number 3. They jumped 4 spots against their win against UMass. Not sure if I agree with that, but Georgia is still going to be one of the teams to beat. But yeah, Texas State at 17. They're now the highest group of 5 teams, knocking off Liberty. And a bunch of new teams ranked: Illinois, Kansas State, Wake Forest, Houston, and Virginia Tech. So we got a little bit of shakeup in the bracket this week. Here's what it looks like currently. Now, obviously, this could change a lot next week with the Ohio State-Michigan matchup. Right now, it's Ohio State, Georgia, Oklahoma State, and Miami getting the byes. And you can see some of the matchups there in the first round. But not only is there the Ohio State-Michigan game next week, there's some other good ones as well. We see Penn State also in the Big Ten hosting Maryland, is coming off a big win at home. LSU and Oklahoma, 5-6, 2 underrated squads going at it in the SEC. And then Syracuse will play host to number 8, Miami. But we have a big game ourselves because it's our rivalry game. The first edition of the Palmetto Series here in the series. We go to Clemson to face the Tigers, our hated rivals. And this is not going to be easy because while Clemson is only 6-5 this year, they are still a very talented team. Klubnik is capable at quarterback. They got an elite tight end in Jake Brenningstool, a pretty solid offensive line, good defense. Barrett Carter in the linebacker group is one of the best linebackers in all of the nation. And they have a pretty formidable secondary as well. Not going to be easy, but we got to beat our rivals. You want to end with a victory against Clemson. We'll see that next episode. Hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, make sure you drop a like and you subscribe down below, especially if you want more Dynasty Mode content. This is Mr. Rob, and I'll see you in the next one.